King of the Swamp, written by Catherine Emmett and illustrated by Ben Mantle. The swamp was quite dark and the swamp was quite dank, and due to the mud, the swamp really quite stank. Muck Darkly lived quietly all on his own and dreamed of transforming his muddy swamp home, which had a neat garden, which had a neat wall. Each year he grew orchids, some large and some small. Some flowers were spotted and some flowers were plain. Muck Darkly, he cherished them all just the same. One day, as he tended a tiny new bud, he heard lots of someones all ride through the mud. This here is where I'll build my new roller coaster skate park. I'll concrete it all 'cause it's stinky and dark. Oh, look over there at that strange swampy thing. Yes, you, stinky creature, bow down to your king. The king and all his minions all started to laugh. Oh, call for my butler to give it a bath. Oh, no, cried Muck Darkly. The orchids will die. He wrung both his hands and he stammered a cry. If you could just look at their beauty, their grace, you'd see that the swamp is a magical place. The princess rode forward. Grow orchids, you say? They'd help with my research. Do show me the way. Muck Darkly said sadly, they've not flowered yet. In a couple of weeks, you will love them, I bet. Oh, Daddy, I have to insist we return. Just think of the marvellous things we could learn. All right, huffed the king. We return in 10 days. He scowled at Muck Darkly. Now buck up your ways. The whole of the swamp best be bursting with grace, or soon I'll be skating all over this place. The next day, Muck Darkly was up before dawn. He rubbed at his eyes and he stifled a yawn. He gathered the plants and the tools he would need. His swamp was at the stake, so he had to succeed. He shoveled mud till his shoulders were sore, then shoveled and planted and shoveled some more. The light was soon fading, the sun was soon set. Muck Darkly kept going, he couldn't stop yet. He worked without ceasing, and time flew so fast that quickly he found that his 10 days had passed. But as he was singing his flowering song, he spotted a something that didn't belong. Right there, on the leaf of a small prickly shrub, he spotted a tiny, furry green grub. Muck Darkly was panicked, but what could he do? He thought for a moment and then he said, "Shoo!" But just as he lifted it off with his paw, he looked all around and he saw there were more. His stomach was churning. He felt rather sick. He had to do something and do something quick. He tried to remove them as fast as he could, but there were so many, it didn't look good. His flowers were eaten in one single night, and nothing was left. No, not one single bite. His swamp would be lost, and he tried not to cry. He knew he had failed, and he howled at the sky. Oh! The horses and riders returned the next day. McDarkley said nothing, for what could he say? But just as the king was gofferting in glee, the princess exclaimed, "Oh my good gracious me! Why, look at that beauty and look at that grace. This really is quite the most magical place. What do you think's happened? The caterpillars or the grubs have eaten all the flowers." McDarkley turned round to see what she had seen, and there, where his poor ruined orchids had been, there weren't any furry, green grubby-like things, but hundreds of butterflies fluttered their wings. Wow! Do you have any favourite ones? There are so many beautiful different butterflies to choose from. How do you think the king looks? Rather impressed, I would say. The princess excitedly made a decree. This place from now on is protected by me. This swamp is the first of my nature reserves. McDarkley will run it. It's what he deserves. McDarkley stood silent. Inside his heart soared. He knew he had rescued the swamp he adored. From then on, the pair of them often would meet. She found him some orchids the grubs would not eat. The plans that they made were so splendid and grand, the princess decided he needed a hand. It turned out the king had some butlers to spare. In fact, before long, she had him working there. The swamp was still dank, but no longer so dark, and never became the king's roller skate park. McDarkley had proven that beauty and grace can sometimes be found in the stinkiest place. Wow! Look at all of these. They look like cocoons. Do you know what will come out? Beautiful butterflies. Wow, what a lovely story.